Hi there, welcome to Friday Forum Not So Live, broadcasting from Point Blank Music School here in the heart of East London. I'm Marcus Barnes, and today we've got a very special treat for you. Backed by popular demand, we have Freddy Frogs.
Hiya.
Nice to have you here again.
That's on, mate.
How's it going?
Sweet, fantastic, yeah.
Brilliant.
Really excited to be here again, yeah.
Yeah, because you had loads of great feedback with the last Friday Forum you did. So,
yeah, so it seems it came through, I think, quite nicely. So we're going to try to give you some more, guys, and yeah, really exciting. I've got so many things I want to show to people.
Yeah, I saw you practicing before. Can you tell everyone out there what you're actually going to be doing today?
Right, yeah, today we're looking at, again, a quite advanced technique, something you need to know your way around Ableton Live to understand fully what's about to happen. It's a combination of techniques directly inspired from live performance. It's the kind of stuff we do live, because I believe Ableton Live is all about performing in a way. It's in its DNA. You know, few people only know that the first release of Ableton Live was a performance-only software, and it has that really built in. And I think a lot of producers out there, after the initial loop has been made and you've got the basic parts of your track working, I think it's easily a lot of people hit the wall and don't know what to do to unlock that situation. And so I believe that working with live performance techniques can truly help develop ideas, come up with some variations on your sounds that you wouldn't have thought of. And so I always, through my teaching, try to implement a lot of live performance techniques. And this one I've never seen demonstrated on stage or on tutorial, sorry.
Cool.
And so I thought I'd show it to people because that's really exciting as a feature. Live, but also incorporating it into your production workflow. So I've tweaked it a little bit. There's going to be two stages to the demo. First, we're going to actually do the live performance thing and show you how to set this up.
Sweet.
But I'm also going to show you how you could use that to write parts for your production. So we'll have two stages. Yeah, one first demo type, 10 minutes sort of introduction, and then we'll explain exactly how everything was set up.
Sure.
And I'll take you step by step to build a performance production type
Nice one, man.
platform. Yeah, it's really interesting.
Well, I'll leave you to get on with it.
All right. So yeah, I'm using a push for this demo. You don't have to have a push for that. No, not at all. I'm only really doing the push thing as a user. There's a user page here, yeah? And this turns the push into a fully mappable, assignable controller. So I'm only using that as a control surface. You could use the APC40, the launchpad there, there's no problem. Any platform will do. Even an Oxygenate keyboard could do fine, okay? It's just free mapping here, so nothing is sort of hard mapped or automatically control surface mapped. So that's something I wanted to say. So I've got a document here, and I'm going to take it one element at a time. I've got 4 elements in this document. I've got a vocal. So the vocal is being sliced up.
Back, bass, beat, drop, back, bass, beat, drop.
So that's the 8 slice for the vocal. That row is just 1 repeat.
Back.
This is
Back.
fully repeat. So I'll show you how to implement that, obviously. That's the full vocal loop.
Back to the bass, to the beat, to the drop. Back
So
to the bass, to the beat,
if you
to
look
the
at
drop.
the
Back to the bass, to the beat, to the drop.
we call the
Back to
slicer,
bass,
the
to
acapella
beat, to the
slicer
drop.
here on
Back
my
to the
screen,
bass, to the beat, to
you'll
the
find
drop.
that I've got
Back
in
to the
fact
bass, to the
3
beat, to the
acapellas
drop. Back to the bass,
into
to the beat, to the
an
drop.
instrument
Back
rack,
to the bass, to the
and I can
beat, to the
easily
drop. Back to the
Bass.
change
Kick the bass.
which acapella receives the MIDI signal. Okay, but that's a manual tweak.
to the beat, to the drop.
Pretty much what we do on stage. Choose which acapella or which break receives the MIDI information. Extremely powerful technique. I've got a few effects also loaded. I can do this type of thing.
To the beat, to the drop. Back to the bass, to the bass, back to the back, to the bass, to the back, drop, drop, to the back, to the bass, drop, beat, to the drop, beat, back, drop, beat, to the drop, beat, back, to the bass, back, beat, to the drop, to the back, to the back, to the bass, to the drop, back, to the back, bass, to the drop, beat, back, to the back, to the bass, to the drop, beat, back, to the bass, to the drop.
Okay, so it's quite sweet. That took me 10 minutes to implement. It's just to enhance a little bit the quality of the demo. Then we have some breaks also sliced up. Let me just switch them on. So that's one of the breaks. I can play the whole break. Yeah. If I look at here, we got the slicer for the breaks here. We got 5 breaks in there. I can scroll through. And depending which range or this orange selector hovers above, we change which break receives the information.
Yeah.
So that's great as a live performance thing. You can add slices using these buttons here. So what's going to be understood is that everything here is quantized. I'm not that good at drumming. This is actually quantized on the 8th. So you got, you can sort of tap away and it's always going to be in time for you. So that's great. So people think people think you're shit hot on stage, but in fact you're not. You're just actually mimicking that. But that's great. That's great. Nobody needs to know that apart from you guys. So we now have also a third element. I'm going to stop the vocals and the break here. And we got a loop that actually comes from the new Ableton Live clip. So one of these guys here, yeah. So I've got 4 of them right here. I can play them separately. So what I was after is some loops that have lots of rhythmic changes, lots of velocity changes and dynamic movement, okay? So I've got 4 of them. This guy, this one. And this could be a percussion loop you've put together. Okay, and that's 4 loops. Okay, now here's the trick, guys and girls. I'm going to use the movement of that break, those four clips I've just played. I'm going to use their movement. You can read their movement looking at their waveform here. You can easily see the changes in amplitude here, the length of the sounds. Well, we have a new Max for Live plugin called Envelope Follower, okay? And that's part of your Max audio effects over here, yeah?
Cool.
You'll find Envelope Follower. So what that does, it rides the movements of your sound. So it's basically following the envelope, as the name implies. It's following the movement in your sound, okay? So with the gain here, I can set how loud it goes. So let's play one of the breaks. And yeah, and you can see here now, the envelope is following the movement of the sound. The gain in some respect enables me to set up the range of the movement, okay? The higher the gain, the higher the envelope goes. Okay, and the rise here allows me to bend a little bit the entrance, and you can see now that the curves here at the front of the sound, the curves are bent, and the fall does the same thing on the opposite spectrum, so it's bending a little bit the out of the curves. Okay, so I'm now having curved peaks instead of straight peaks. Now, that's amazing already by itself on its own, but basically what happens here, you can map, just like any other, most of the Max for Live plugins, you can map this movement to change whatever you want. And what I want to change, you guessed it, is the slicer here. This little, this actually, I've mapped that to the chain selector. So now when I play the break, you'll find that this orange MIDI selector is now moving in time with the rhythm.
Yeah.
Okay, that strongly influences which part of which sample gets played back. So let's hear both of them together.
Yeah.
And automatically you find that the break is switching. Let's hear just the break. You can see the break is actually changing. You can see here which one of the chains receives the MIDI information. So we're kind of imbricating all these breaks together to form a new break. And this changes when I change the trigger. So let me show you. If I now trigger another one of these 4 clips over here, changes the way the break plays back. The great thing about this is that the 2 sounds are going to really merge properly. There's a strong relationship, there's a rhythm relationship between these 2 sounds. You can feel that. If I change the sound again, and again, we're changing fully how it plays back. Let's have a look at the envelope follower here. If I start tweaking the gain, you can now hear how the gain influences truly which break is being played back. And which part of which break. So that's brilliant. The same principle applies to the acapellas. Let's play the acapellas. And let's now modulate a little bit the acapella using the envelope follower, the second one here.
bass to the beat to the go.
So
Kick the bass to the beat to the go.
the movement here is now implemented to the a cappella slices. Let me show you here.
Bass to the beat to the go.
And you can now see how, oh, that's the wrong one, sorry. There you go. You can see how the a cappellas, which a cappella is playing is determined by the movement of this break. Let's change the break. And it changes fully how the a cappella is being played back.
The bass.
Okay, now let's demo how this works all together, shall we?
Yeah, go for it, man.
The bass. The bass. The bass. The bass. The bass.
Now we can hear the three sources together. You can strongly feel how the break trigger plus the break beat that's been sliced plus the vocals
Yeah, they're like,
are all moving together,
yeah.
truly in sync. Very, very important. You can change a little bit the movement here using the envelope follower to really find the right setting and try to get that to groove a bit. Add to this a bit of backbeat. A bit of a snare. Maybe a bit of a hi-hat in there as well, shall we? Choose it. Like so. That's it. So we now have four different input, backbone, trigger beat, break beat, vocals, and yeah, it's been fun. Remember, the movement of the vocal is triggered by these clips here.
yep.
These clips there on the string. I could remove the sound of that so you don't actually hear it, but you can hear the movement it has on the breaks, for instance. So, it's a truly fascinating technique that is, as I said, directly inspired from performance, but I'm going to now deconstruct that with you and show you how this could become part of your workflow as a production technique.
It seems to be something that's like really injects a lot of fun into the whole process.
That's
of making music.
that's what I'm fond of, and this is why I love Ableton Live so much, because it has brought the fun back into making music. It's not about watching a screen anymore. You watch a screen for a bit, but then you get you got your reward. You've set up a nice little environment here, and there's one moment you're gonna hit the right settings, and you're gonna think, now that works. I need to grab that, so you can record everything you do, grab it, export it. Integrate it into your tune, and that's it. You've made a huge step forward in the production process. You've hit the wall and you've unlocked a little bit that stalemate. I always describe production as you get a bag of tricks. Yeah, and as you get more experience, you gather loads of tricks like so. And yeah, you're in front of your computer, you're in front of your push, you're like, well, I don't know what to do, let's have a look at the bag. Oh, there goes a trick I haven't learned for a long time, okay. And you spend an hour setting it up, an hour and a half setting it up, and then that unlocks everything. You see, that technique, I can hear many different variations of my sound that I would like as part of a track. So let me now go through it with you guys and girls and show you how this was actually made, because some of you might be quite baffled right now, thinking, how the hell does he go about making this? Right, so I'm going to open a brand new document. The first step to this technique really is to demonstrate how to slice the breaks, slice the acapellas, okay? So I'm going to do one or two for you, and then I'll show you how I've put that together. Now, one of the question is, I can hear you say, yeah, well, you got some really nice breaks here, man. Where do you get these breaks from?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you get the breaks?
So that's a good question. Thanks. From all 60s, 70s, 50s records, and that's the source really. That's where it all comes from. All the real drummers, you know.
Yeah.
So let's choose one together. It's a little bit dull. A little bit further. Yeah, that'll do fine. I mean, that's absolutely fine. Let's just bring it in. There it is. So it's a new audio track. It's actually cropped already, so. It's quite sweet.
Yeah.
Now, when you bring this type of sounds in, I'd strongly advise to clean it up a bit. The technique works so much better when all the breaks you choose have the same color, the same dynamic.
Nice and crisp.
So you have to choose them properly, but you can also sort of treat them a little bit. One of the treatments I would apply is this. I bring a utility plugin in, and that does all sorts of things, including lets you hear the left and the right. Okay, so that's what a lot of people would like to know. Let's hear the left together. And while it's running, switch to the right. Well, not much difference as far as I can tell.
Not a huge amount of difference. But
Might be a little brighter on the left, don't know if
Yeah.
you noticed. So
Yeah,
I'm
that's what
gonna
I
choose
think
the
as well,
left, yeah. So I'm gonna use the left hand side. So what happens here, guys and girls, is we have two sides to this audio file. It's a true stereo audio file. If you zoom in proper, you're gonna realize how the two waveforms are slightly different. They kind of look alike, but there's slight differences between them. So you can assume that there's a difference between the left and the right. So that's what we just checked. The left is the top waveform, the right is the right waveform. If while zooming you notice that the two waveforms are identical, they're very near each other, aren't they? But you can notice they're slightly different. If they are identical, what you've got is in fact a mono file. Yeah, so both signals are identical on the left and the right, so it's a mono file. Even though it plays on both left and right speaker, it's a mono file. It has the same signal. Yeah. So I'm using just the left. Generally talking, you could say that drums are better mono as the source sound. You can then apply stereo yourself with your reverbs, your delays, whatever, stereo panning. But initially, it's good to have them dry and central and mono. Mono means more energy to your drums, and they will pulse more. Yeah. So we're gonna leave that mono as is because the utility does that. I'll also apply a slight EQing maybe. Because I want to use these breaks, in this very setting, I want to use these breaks with another kick underneath, with what I call the backbone of the track, the kick and the snare. So I'm going to deep and remove about everything below 100 Hertz, just to clean up the bottom end. Also, watch out for the low mids. Often you might want to remove a bit of mud there. And around 5,000 Hertz or so, you'll find the crack of the snare, most of your hat, and depending what you're trying to do, I mean, it's often a good idea to brighten up the sound. You could compress it a bit. I'm not going to do that because I like to compress all the breaks together. So that's it. I've applied a bit of mono utility, a bit of EQing, and I'm going to print these effects onto the sound using the right-click function, freeze. Okay, freeze is a function that allows you to save CPU. And you can notice how my effects are now frozen. And basically, whilst you're frozen, you can right-click again on the name of the track, and this time you use the flatten function. So that's a really quick way to render, bounce, export your file. And now you'll find that the left and the right are identical, and because the utility plugin has been applied to the sound. Okay. Sweet. Now the next move really is to just crop one bar out of that, but before I do so, I will slightly quantize this break. So when quantizing, as in getting this file tighter, obviously there's lots of swing from that drummer. That's lovely. That's what we want. We're not gonna take all the swing away. We're gonna take a bit away so it can be sliced neatly. But when doing this, I'll strongly advise not to go for Ableton Live's pseudo watt marker, also called transient marker. You see this gray guy here? They not very often are they're not very accurate. Okay, so you want to go in there yourself. It's actually a good idea to go where the waveform goes right up. You see there? I was tempted to put it there when the zero crossing line happens, so when the waveform meets that straight line there, that's a good place. But look, there's a good one there. And because it's the start of my break, I want to get it as punchy as possible. With kick and snares, it's quite a good idea sometimes to cut in the waveform at the beginning of the sound. That adds attack, punch, dynamic to the sound. So I'm going to do this here. This technique is well known with recycling basically. When in the 90s, recycle was the norm really. Good. So I'm going to make sure this is the right length. I've got a 1 bar loop. It's written around here. I'm going to crop that. Right click, crop. The cropping happens accordingly, or you could say that the loop brace here sets the length of the cropping, okay? So I've placed that carefully now. I right click and I crop the sample to get rid of the rest, and we're left exactly with what we wanted, nice a 1 bar sample. Yep. Good. I'm going to quantize every 1/8 of this audio file. So I'm going to go right in the middle. It's a good idea to start with the middle one, because as you're straightening up the middle one, all the others you see are getting nearer to their position. So it's a good idea to go from the middle and then expand. Okay, so I'm going to go there. And you see how precise I go in. Don't be lazy, guys and girls. Just go in. No sloppy job here. You really need to be precise about the slicing position. Otherwise, you'll have clicks, unwanted noises at the start or at the end of the slices, which might completely ruin your job, so your effort. So I'm going in, and I'm going to basically warp or quantize. This time I'm going to go with what Ableton Live is proposing, because it's quite difficult to read that one. And I'm going to quantize every 1/8. All the in-between sound, you see there's an in-between sound here. Yep. I'm not quantizing this, okay? It's important that, because we're going to retain a little bit of the swing from the original file that way. And this will make the whole thing much better in terms of groove, okay? Right, so I'm almost finished. One more, that guy here. It's quite hard to read that one. It's a bit messy, let me just zoom out a little touch. Yeah, it feels like there, yeah? It looks like there that we're getting the start of the sound, okay? Bit of a shame, but the transient markers are not always accurate, and definitely not as good as they should be for this technique, okay? Good, all right, we've really tightened this up now. Great. Right click onto the clip and use the slice to new MIDI track function. So that's not new to Ableton Live 9. The others underneath are. This has been there for ages now, since 8, I think. And basically, there goes the dialogue. You get the choice here to slice it through with the warp markers, the trends in the bar. What you want is an 1/8 note. Yep. Okay, all the clips, all the breaks, and all the acapellas are going to be sliced by 1/8 note. That's the idea behind the technique. What happens then? Ableton Live has created a new MIDI clip that contains what we call a staircase-looking MIDI pattern. I'm going to quantize that. Command U. Yeah. So select and Command U. You find that all the slices have gone now really tight. Okay, that's what you want. Great. So what we also have now is a new MIDI track, and in there you'll find what we call an audio, a drum rack. Yeah. The 8 slices are there, sliced automatically. You need to go and check them out. Click like so, and listen for clicks. That's quite a dirty one, but nothing. That's quite clean. Yeah. The better you do the warping, the cleaner it will be. Yeah. Good. What happens now if I play that clip? You'll find that it will trigger the break pretty much like it was. Yeah. You can tighten up the break a touch if you turn your sustain down and adjust the decay. That's the full thing. And you hear a lot of room noise.
Yeah. Bring that down.
Bring that down. Tight, dynamic, clean, okay? And that gives us lots of space to slot the other rhythmical element around that, okay? So that's a classic trick from like the recycle era. Ooh. Now, so far so good, Pips? You're following us, yeah? So I've now understood how we slice a break. We have to clean it a little bit. We have to tighten it up so it actually plays back nicely, okay? Now, the second step really is to show you how to include many breaks inside the same instrument, so you can switch between the breaks, okay? Let's do this. Firstly, we'll create 2 new MIDI tracks, so Command Shift and T, or Control Shift T on a PC, yeah? And that's 2 new MIDI tracks that are empty at the moment. open your ins and outs. So ins and outs are located, the icon is there next to the master I/O, ins and outs, okay?
Yep.
And that is Ableton's patch bay. It's the routing matrix. Yeah? It allows you to redirect the signals within the platform and outside the platform. MIDI, audio signals within Ableton Live from channels to channels, or out of Ableton Live onto your speakers or a microphone coming into Ableton Live. That's where you deal with that type of manipulation. And it's opening that ins and outs section on each channel here, yeah? And that basically is your routing matrix for each channel. So what we'll do, we'll say to these two MIDI tracks that I've just created, we'll go MIDI 2, and we'll choose the track that has the break on it. So we'll send the information to that track, like so. And we'll bring the MIDI clip onto this channel here. So what happens now, if we stick this channel here on monitoring, monitoring means the channel is open.
Yep.
It ain't gonna play any clip. If there's a clip loaded on the channel, it won't play that. It will always let through the signal that you've chosen to send to it.
Yep.
Okay? So it's an open channel. So this means that now when I play this clip here that I've moved across, okay, the information travels from that clip and goes down to the MIDI 2 and is being sent here, and this guy is receiving it and playing it back. Here goes the trick. I'm going to copy, holding the ALT, the option key on my computer keyboard, I'm going to copy the clip here to the other MIDI channel.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to open the clip, double click. And I'm going to grab just that first note here. And that little triangle at the end. Not many people use that triangle. This is the playback endpoint.
Right.
Okay? The left-hand side triangle is the playback start point. That's the playback end point. Okay? This only comes into action or is actually valid or working when you have switched off the loop switch here.
Okay.
All right? So the rule is, if the loop switch is on, the loop brace, this guy here, takes over and determines the playback area.
Yep.
Whilst this is off, now the two triangles here determine the start point and the end point, and it doesn't loop anymore. Okay? So what we'll do, we'll create 8 copies of this clip. So I've got 1, I do Command D, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got 8 now slices. I'm going to go into each of them and I'm going to raise the MIDI note by 1 slice, like so, okay? 3, 4, always keep count, lose count, I mean. 5, 6, and that goes 7, and that goes 8, right? Now I've got 8 slices, I can switch them on for you to demonstrate what they do. They're just basically one part of that break.
Sure.
Okay? At the moment, they're okay, but they're not very playable. They kind of slow to react because they're following what we call the global quantization over here. So what we need to do is make these more reactive, a bit more spontaneous, instantaneous. So I'm going to multi-select all these clips using my shift key down on my computer keyboard. That multi-select all the time, yeah? And now it says here, 8 MIDI clips in tracks are selected. So I've multi-selected my clips. Now, watch carefully, Pips. If you're looking at the bottom left-hand side of your clip box here, you'll find an L icon. L stands for launch. If you hit that, it opens that launch box, which enables you to change the behavior of your clips upon launching.
Cool.
Do they repeat? Do they toggle? Do they gate? I quite like the repeat mode. It's quite cool. And then, this is the important part. It has a quantization setting. Okay. So that enables you to set how quick the clip will start after you've clicked on its launch icon, the triangle. So if you go on, let's say 16, let's have fun. We can now do this. Okay.
Wicked.
Okay, so it's a lot quicker. Now, the real cool thing about all this is that you have now 2 MIDI channels sending to the same instrument. And we found out with running Nick, the on-site tutor for Ableton Live, that you could basically play the break and add slices to the break using these buttons. Okay, so if I use my push on session mode here,
Sweet.
yeah, as simple as that. So that's already cool in itself, isn't it? And for performance, it's brilliant. because there's a real showmanship here. People see you tapping the brakes, they hear instantaneously what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah, yeah.
You're not looking at your computer, you're fully submerged into that, and that has a true showmanship.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not like writing an email in front of a crowd, which is especially annoying when you're in the crowd. Good. So I hope you've got that first bit of the technique in. Yeah, it's quite technical what I've just done, isn't it? So now, what is the next logical step is to add more breaks
Yeah.
to the instrument so we can now slice or decide which breaks receives that MIDI information. Well, we're on the right track, we're almost done, all right? So what I'll do to make things a little quicker, I go and grab the actual document I had used previously in that demo, and I'm gonna basically open what we call the ALS file, yeah, the Ableton Live set. So that's the set that was open just before, yeah?
Cool.
And I'll access that because I know I've got loads of breaks. You see, that's the break channel. I've got loads of breaks already ready here. I'm gonna bring them in. It's gonna save us time. There they are. These are the breaks I was using earlier on for the demo, yeah? And they're not, you know, they're just basically quantized, cleaned up, and ready to be sliced.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll show you with one of these. I'll hit here, slice to new MIDI track, okay? And 8th note, that's the important part, yeah? And okay. Okay, we now we find a new drum rack filled up with 8 slices, just like we had earlier
Yeah.
on. Now watch carefully, this is the trick. You remember that first drum rack I was triggering earlier on, the one I sliced in front of you? There it is. What I'll do, I'll right click onto the name of it, and there's a group function. This will place this drum rack into an instrument rack, okay? That's when it gets a bit tricky. You'll notice that there is a brace around that drum rack. It's been now boxed into an instrument rack. This logo here enables you to see the chains of the rack. So we have one chain into that instrument rack, and that's our drum rack. Now, I go and grab the new drum rack I've just sliced up, click hold it with your mouse, drag it, hover it above the name of the track to open the instrument rack.
Okay.
Okay? And then you slide it down and you drop it underneath the other one. Cool. And do this again. Undo. All right. You get your rack, you click and hold it, you slide it down above the instrument rack's channel. This will open the instrument rack down there. Now you can slide it down and drop it underneath the other one, okay? I had to do that twice, I think. It's quite
Yeah,
a
it is a
magic
bit.
trick. Okay. We now have 2 drum brakes sliced into an instrument rack. And here they are. Okay? So what we need really to nail now is how to select which one of the 2 receives the MIDI information to trigger the sound, basically, okay? So that's, you know, I hope I haven't lost you all guys there, because it's well advanced, this technique, yeah? It's well worth it though. A little bit of setup and you see how much fun you can have and how creative it becomes, okay? So hold on, bear with me. We're almost there. We've opened the chain I code, okay? So if you open your rack, the chains here, okay, that's the chain I code. There we've got key, velocity, chain, and hide. Hit the chain button to reveal that, basically that area here where these blue chains, they're called chains here. You see this guy? This is the range, the MIDI range for this chain, and this is now the MIDI range for that chain, okay? If you place them at either extremity, you can multi-select them. That's quite convenient if you got 10 or 15 breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I see people going really, I've done it, you know, going really slowly, placing these guys like so. It's not precise. It's a bit of a headache. Okay, so here goes the trick. You place one at the end, at the very end, 127, one at the very beginning. You select them all, right click, and distribute range equally. Okay, and that will basically place them for you. And when you got 15 slices, 15 breaks in there, trust me, this is like, thanks. All right, there. This orange little guy here, that's your MIDI selector, your range selector. Okay, whichever range this guy hovers above will be the one which receives the MIDI information from our MIDI clip, and our slices. Okay, so let me demonstrate. If I hit the clip stop, the first chain here receives the signal. You can see the signal here. If I move this above this guy, now the second one receives this. Brilliant. So that explains a bit more to you guys and girls how we can basically change the break that receives the information. So 8th note can be divided into 5, 6 breaks, you know, and you get a sound from each of the breaks reforming a new unit. Okay, and that's pretty cool.
Very cool.
All right, that's the first step, really. We also have acapellas. So to show you quickly, I don't want to lose too much time. I don't know how long we've got, but
We've got about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, cool. We'll do the same thing with an acapella. I've got some acapellas here that I used earlier on.
Back to the bass, to the beat, to the drum.
Okay, and I'm going to slice this in 8ths, slice the new MIDI track and slice in 8ths, okay? I go and grab that rack, which has an acapella, and I'm going to bring it into that same rack. So I'm going to mix acapellas and breaks now. I'm going to redistribute the range.
Ace.
All right. And that's pretty cool. Now, here goes really the interesting part of the whole setup, something that I kind of worked out with the new Max for Live devices. Let's just grab a rhythmic clip from Ableton Live's library, yeah? One of the clips we've got here. Yeah, that'll do fine. I just load that into Ableton Live. It's an Ableton Live clip that comes with Ableton Live now. I kind of choose it not so random. I chose the percussive one, and there it is. Okay, good, nice rhythmic changes and volume changes. There goes the trick, ladies and gents. You go to your Max for Live audio effect, there it is, and you load this envelope follower. All right, load that into that sound, yeah, into that channel, yeah, there it is. I call that the trigger, yeah, so it makes it clear for you guys and girls what it does. And what happens here? This envelope follower, as I explained earlier on, will follow the changes of volume. It will write the envelope of your audio file, like so. The movements of this envelope are shadowing, surfing, riding that clip. You can change how accurately it rides the clip using the fall and the raise here. All right, now here's the trick. You hit the map button and you tell it to go and switch which break or which chain is selected using the envelope. Like so. Look at this orange guy now. Okay, so if you tweak it a bit, you'll be able to change how much it lingers above certain slices.
Yeah.
And you can also change its range. I'm going to need a bit more gain here. That changes the range, look. It goes much higher now. Shall we hear it? I know you do want to hear it, Marcus.
Go for it.
To the bass, beat, back to the back to the bass, beat, back to the back to the bass, beat, back to the beat to the back to the bass, beat, back to the.
So the beauty of this is that that trigger I just took from the Ableton Live clip is truly entwined, merging, completely in sync with the movement of the breaks.
Yeah.
And this opens the door to so much.
To the bass, beat, back to the back to the bass.
And you can really hear how the movement is affecting. Now, if you tweak a little bit the gain here and all these guys, see, you can change which chain receives the signal. I get a little bit of vocal in there.
Yeah.
I think it's better not to have so much
yeah.
vocal. Yeah, okay. Now you get the idea, Pips. So that goes a very long way. If you add a note echo, and we did look at the note echo last time I came, if you go into your Max for Live MIDI plugin, you add a note echo in front of that. Let's do it quickly. We've got 2 minutes to do that, don't we? Audio MIDI, Max MIDI effect, have a note echo there, for instance. All right. And this will add loads of note, like a delay, yeah? So let's hear it.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, without it. With it. There's a bit of a rolling there, hey? Yeah, that works. I also find that, and that's just scratching the surface. I did that, quickly yesterday. I discovered loads of different tweaks that can be done. If you bring an arpeggiator now in front of the MIDI sequence here, so that's the MIDI sequence that's actually triggering the whole loop, yeah. And you can start changing.
Crazy effects.
That's on top of the echo, so I think it sounds that's very messy now.
Yeah.
I'll take the echo off. Yeah. That's changing the way the 8 slices are now reaching the instrument. On the 8 quantization. Fantastic snap. Okay, all right. The world is yours, really. Start working with these MIDI effects and stuff. It's amazing. So, to make it relevant to you pips out there, I know everybody's like, where do I get the acapellas from? Where do I get the breaks from? It's a logical thing to say. I chose to demonstrate with these elements because they kind of rhythmic and you could really perceive what was happening. Now do this with your percussion. Do this with your vocal if you have some. Do this with your bass line. So last night I thought, dude, how about we start doing that with bass line? So I loaded a few bass lines from Ableton Live's on board sort of preset, chose some really percussive short bass line sounds, have five or six of them layered into an instrument rack, and had the rhythm of my percussion changing which bass was triggered. And I came up with some like brilliant sort of like dubstep complex throw sort of like melting thing. Adding audio, adding MIDI effects to it, you can resequence it, you can shape it to your liking. And in 20 minutes I had the wicked bass line sorted. Same with the melodies. We did that with the melodies afterwards. So yeah, that goes a very long way, people. All right, so you can watch this again if that was a little bit above your head, guys and girls, but it is well worth understanding and sticking that into your workflow. It's a major trick. If you're into performing, this I hope has helped you understanding how you could mimic what DJ Shadow does, or Arab Music, or Jeremy Ellis. How these guys, obviously they're doing it live, yeah? They're not quantized as we are, but if you understand how this is done, you could also make it live or keep it quantized. And people really think you're really good at drumming. They don't have to know that you're actually quantized. Voila, really. So I hope you've enjoyed that technique today, ladies and gents. It's quite something, isn't it? It's not anything I've seen anybody showing before in that very way. And I hope it has been useful to you guys and girls.
Yeah, I think it has, man. It's been a very entertaining session, man. So thanks a lot.
It's a sweet technique. It's a really sweet. I've been wanting to show that for a long time. I think it's well worth understanding. I want the world to know.
Well, thanks again for coming in, Freddie. That's been excellent.
That's wicked.
Just to say to everybody, thanks for watching, and don't forget, tune in every Friday, 4 p.m. for a Friday Forum Live, or maybe not so live. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
At Point Blank Online, you've got two methods of interaction with your tutor. Firstly, you've got the weekly online masterclass, which is in real time. And then also we've got feedback on your assignments, and that's known as DVR. So the online masterclass is a 1-hour session you get with your tutor every week. You can ask questions about the lesson content and get instant feedback, and also demonstrations on the fly from their computer desktop with our streaming technology. DVR stands for Direct Video Response, and the concept is really simple. You upload your Ableton Logic or Cubase project file to your tutor, he downloads it and then pushes record on the screen capturing software and evaluates your work, so basically giving you one-to-one feedback. You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder watching what they're doing whilst they work. We've found the DVR process has truly revolutionized the way that we teach online, and the results speak for themselves. Book your place on a course now by visiting pointblankonline.net.